Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable President Dr. Karsanbhai Patel, the Vice President, the Director General, the trustees, members of the Board of Governors, Executive Registrar, deans, heads of departments, esteemed faculty members, other support team members of the Nirma University, distinguished invitees, students who have just completed their courses, their proud parents, well-wishers and friends. I feel highly privileged and honored to address this convocation. At the outset, let me congratulate all those who are receiving their degrees and diplomas this evening. Convocations are always a manifestation of intellectual maturity, proven knowledge levels, and an occasion to celebrate the success of hard work. While celebrating the success of completing the course, we must always keep in mind that in a knowledge-driven economy, learning is a continuous part of lifestyle. Learning is eternal and experience is valuable. The fusion of knowledge and experience brings the right wisdom that drives the organization. It's always challenging and enterprising to keep learning new developments, not only in our domain of operations, but on the greater canvas of ever dynamic and evolving leadership and management sciences. Before I proceed further, I would like to pay my respects to the founders of Nirma University. Nirma University, as given in its prime objective, has become a modern temple of learning where quality education is more than a philosophy. It is the very essence of its existence. I compliment Dr. Karsanbhai Patel, the president of the university, who has given a new meaning to the standards of education. His vision and foresight and entrepreneurship could trigger setting up of this great university, which has become a great source of academic strength for the country, for which all of us are proud. I understand that during the rigors of the program, you students have been exposed to a combination of modes of learning using theory, project assignments, case studies, interactions, debates and discussions that multiplies the quality of inputs providing a stimulated environment of looking at practical angle to the managerial dimensions. The value of such strong academic inputs is enhanced with your ability to apply them in your future engagements with the economy. The blend of academic knowledge with the experience of on-campus learning makes the program more holistic. Since all of you had the grooming in the best intellectual environment, nurtured by reputed faculty, you can set new performance benchmark when you take up responsibility in the industry as a part of your professional career. Hence, every alumni of the institute must keep up to the professional and ethical standards of the university in social life and forge ahead in building enterprise in India. To my mind, the end of a course program in the university is a beginning of a more challenging set of new learning where leadership plays a very important role. In this backdrop, I would like to talk to you on certain core leadership challenges in managing evolving organizations operating in a dynamic global commercial space. In organizing my views, I kept in the back of my mind the following facts. On the strength of 20 years of reforms, India is well set to become more robust in terms of its potentiality to grow as we embark on closing our ongoing 11th plan period in 2012 and setting on course for the 12th plan term 2012-2017 with a very firm agenda to cruise towards the double-digit growth. The world is fast integrating with waning decoupling theories for emerging economies which were making rounds in the recent global meltdown. The instances of volatility of global crude oil prices, rising food prices, bottlenecks in the movement of the commodities in the wake of upsurge in some parts of the Arab world, and the proportion of impact of continuing slowdown in Eurozone and US on our domestic economy makes the management more challenging and more complex. Similarly, the external economy will have a greater pie in building up local economy that calls for constant change leadership in the corporate world. There will be no standardization in the long term. Policies, rules of the game, governance and management have to be sensitive enough to tune its efficiency to suit the dynamics of global changes. Nothing remains proprietary, and philosophy of governments itself may need a review more often than we can perceive. The digitization of the economy with revolutionary telecommunication and wireless technology, exponential growth of electronic and print media, impressive growth of virtual connectivity of the world could open up new range of opportunities. The emerging leadership has to design suitable strategies to manage the closely interconnected corporate world that calls for better knowledge management. If that be so, the future leadership has to be more pragmatic and assume the role of change leaders that can shape organizations into high-performing, dynamic, and ever capable to adopt change and transform the line of functioning. I am sure that my thoughts will trigger certain ideas to get associated with shaping up India not only as an Asian economic powerhouse in the near term, but also build its course to turn India into a global economic powerhouse in the long term using the synergy of demographic dividend of young population, technology and leadership skills. In this context, I would like to point out that the world of leadership belongs to the most agile. While distinguishing today's competitive climate, our core competencies should be fitted to flex, pivot, and innovatively adopt technology to the ever-emerging future so as to make agility our greatest differentiator. The survival of the fittest mentality is becoming outmoded. New leadership models are needed to face challenges of new proportions. A more fitting definition might be survival of the most aware or survival of the most flexible mentally, emotionally and strategically. The emerging paradigm for success will convert the concept of dominant exertion to one of internal and external agility. The survival of the most aware and most adaptable is becoming the foundation for sustainable effectiveness to handle the high impact change in the work environment. As we go up the executive ladder, we need to become increasingly comfortable with uncertainty and sudden change. As leaders, we require the integrative ability to weave together and make sense of apparently disjointed pieces, crafting novel and innovative solutions. At the same time, we need the self-confidence to make decisions on the spot, even in the absence of compelling, complete data. The qualities needed at the top: openness, integrative thinking, adaptability to embrace the grayness that comes from multiple diverse viewpoints. We must master our adaptability mentally, emotionally, strategically, and interpersonally. Similarly, we need to build up learning agility that allows us to learn something in one situation and apply it in a different situation. It's about gathering patterns from one context and using them in another so that we can make sense out of something we have never seen or done before. In short, learning agility is change mastery, the ability to learn, adopt and apply ourselves in constantly changing first-time conditions. Positive change requires letting go of old patterns and taking a fresh approach. It demands going beyond preconceived ideas. We can gain insight only if we are open to change. But change challenges our current reality by forcing a new reality to rush in. If we are open to it, new possibilities flow into our lives. If we are not open to change, we respond to it like an enemy we have to fend off. Why do you fear change? Change involves both creation and destruction. As something new is created, something old is destroyed. At the junction of these realities, most of us retreat, usually only after we have extracted the learning inherent in change do we accept it and realize that our leadership muscles are stronger and more supple. At the same time, in a dynamic work environment, leaders should take time to plan, think and recreate. And in this brisk global market, if you are not taking time to plan, think, recreate, reorganize for improved efficiency and effectiveness, you are simply managing a process, not leading your people towards a larger future. Calmness in taking a view will avoid hurrying through a decision which may be disastrous. We must take appropriate time to apply our mind on issues, evaluate options, and select the option that are the right trade-off between risk and return. We must inculcate the art of speaking our mind with our team. This needs the basic quality of an effective change leader. Communicate well. The best leaders communicate well, consistently, often, and to everyone. They invite people in. They let people know that what's going on and tell people what they really think. One-to-one communication will clarify the stand. Great leaders listen. We don't just go through the act of listening mechanically. We need to listen with active curiosity because we should be genuinely interested in learning the other person's point of view. Leaders who don't respect the people they listen to or care to understand their opinions do not get connected with the team and they do not learn anything. In the end, they are losers and those who speak and share views stand to gain. With the concept of sharing work and undertaking transformation as a project, group communication assumes more significance. A steady heartbeat of communications from the top lets people know that you are there and you are engaged. What you say is almost less important than the fact that you say it regularly. Communicate periodically without fail. You will score huge leadership points with steady quality communications. When people feel that they are in the loop, they are much more motivated, less worried and more productive, and they consider you to be a better leader than someone they seldom hear from. Change management and transformation is a journey and not a destination. Hence, persuasiveness of goals makes a change leader more successful. Experience shows that great leaders are persuasive. You don't need to be a world-class speaker to be a world-class communicator. You need to understand people and how to persuade them. That is why listening and learning helps. Persuasive communications light the path you are asking people to travel and sells the reason why they should go with you. The team gets convinced that the change proposed shall enhance the operational efficiency and brings on organizational growth that the team can feel proud. The psychology of people suggests that everyone loves to be successful and be a part of a rapidly growing organization and therefore the need to convince. The change leaders should pick the right people and make them great. Effective leaders build a team underneath them that is so capable that they are free to solve higher order problems. There should not be a situation where it is required for the key leaders to personally step in to do the work because you have weak spots, team members who are not capable or motivated enough to step up to do more. It is an enterprising task for the leaders to create competent teams so that you can deliver high value and bring changes that enhances efficiency. Create star performers and give them big work. Support them and let them excel. Help them to be amazing. Create a culture where the team works well and individuals can grow to solve bigger and bigger problems over time. Pick the right people for the right jobs so that they can work where they have natural strengths and thrive. Give them the room and support to stretch beyond their current capabilities. Create an environment for them to feel respected and can be proud of their work. They achieve more and get recognized for it. People like to be amazing and be respected, supported, and recognized. If you do these two things, you get the best people to work for the team and they move mountains for the organization. I would like to reinforce these thoughts on change leaders with certain basic principles of good management practice which came to my mind on reading a good book, The Puritan Gift by Kenneth Hopper and William Hopper. The book is all about the traces and origins and characteristics of managerial culture which in my opinion if followed can form the building block to create future young leadership in the country that can realize the aspirations of 1.2 billion Indians. They are basic but form the ground for budding young and enterprising managers. As successful organizations, however simple, need to build robust system within systems to build checks and balances of efficiency. All such systems need to be nurtured, cross-checked for efficiency and is regularly refreshed. The most important subsystem in any organization is a managerial hierarchy based on some form of line and staff that facilitates codified delegation of functions so that roles and responsibilities are clearly defined. The best type of hierarchy is the bottoms up while not abolishing the formal line of command as the ultimate channel of communication. Leadership, as far as possible, be collective or collegiate. A shared vision is easy to achieve. The middle manager is the keystone of the managerial hierarchy. Long-serving middle managers need to be groomed to take up key positions who have domain knowledge and who can drive the organization from the vantage point. Meetings must be developed as the medium of management work. Professionally organized, strictly time-driven, and strictly agenda-driven, meetings must work as sharing platform for action. Integrated decision-making leads to right conclusions. As the night follows day, the decision makers are to be recognized as being responsible for its success or failure. The execution and its follow-up with the functionaries should be built in. Since the resources are scarce, planning is a must. It should encompass all time spans. Short term, 1 to 3 years, medium term, 3 to 5 years, long term, say above the span of 5 years, or 10 to 15 years. The deliverables must be clearly defined in each time span. Analyze the performance of peer players in the market, study their strengths and weaknesses, and learn from them. Learn from pioneers and emulate their best practices. Learning from other organizations is a key to success. Excellent internal communications in all directions, top-down, bottoms-up, and free flow communications from all arms of the organization is essential for timely strategic interventions and reviews. The manager must be a leader in both a practical and a moral sense. Leaders are charismatic figures who command loyalty and offer a vision. In the same way, a manager must be capable to lead the organizational growth. Use strategic consultants sparingly. Leading change and transformation must form a part of staff and line functionaries. One-off activities may be outsourced to consultants but must be quickly taken over by the organizational team to integrate it with the mainstream activities. This will provide continuity of the activity and integrate with the workflows. A manager should be aware of his responsibility to the society as a whole, including to the employees of the organization and their well-being. All long-term strategies, actions and implementation methods must keep these broad social objectives in mind to provide long-term sustainability. A manager should possess or acquire what is known as domain knowledge, that is a profound understanding of the technology, business and process flows so that he can build the succession plan. Long-term apprenticeship is a must to gain knowledge and to take up the mentoring and coaching of teammates. Even in the era of specialization, job rotation should form an integral part of management system so that all-rounder could be generated. Middle order management must be endowed with these specific qualities in the longer interest of the organization. Incentives and remuneration should be oriented towards building sustainability of the organizational growth. They should not be too much tilted to reward one-off performance. It should be built to develop loyalty and long-term relationship between the employers and the employee. Briefly, I would like to illustrate that the term leadership is a collective quality of putting together some of the important attributes. We need to nurture love for people, energy and exuberance to accomplish goals. Be action oriented, possessing a natural flair for developing people around you. Be empathetic in dealing with people issues. Be a role model with impeccable integrity and honesty. Develop skills of self-awareness, and you should be able to spread happiness around the workspace, should be able to inspire people, and finally, you as a leader has to be passionate to perform. Though it is not easy to possess all these qualities, but once we are aware, we can definitely work towards developing them to be able to demonstrate leadership in accomplishing our career goals. Health and happiness for people are important for a quality life. The right leader is the one who can not only have it, but should be able to disseminate it to the people around him. I thought that these basic elements of managerial dimensions, when viewed in the context of change management, will be able to help the new management postgraduates to understand the dynamics of corporate workspace and be able to prepare to integrate with the management philosophy of multiple fast-growing sectors that are opening up avenues for youth to take up leadership positions. As a chairman of a public sector bank, I would also like to assure that the financial sector is also a very promising employer, providing ample opportunities for growth and job satisfaction. In order to support the buoyant growth opportunities in India, a robust bank-driven financial sector is essential that can channelize not only resources generated in India, but also from abroad. The emphasis on inclusive growth will also provide enterprising opportunities to the youngsters to catch up higher positions in shorter time span. I would reinforce that the end of study for an organized MBA degree is the beginning of a more rigorous study of the global environment to be able to effectively manage the people dynamics and integrate with the corporate culture that you may embrace. I would stress that empathy and soft skills will play greater role before application of our domain and leadership qualities in driving change and helping organization to scale up to exponential growth. Therefore, let me take this opportunity to wish each and every one of you enterprising and challenging times ahead, where you will be able to make a strategic space in the career, balancing work and life, which are important leaves for a happy life. I am sure from the current generation of learned and young leadership, you will be able to guide the destiny of India to the pinnacles of glory for which your parents, all of us, your institute and the teachers will be feeling very proud. So once again, therefore, to all the students who have been conferred with the degree and diplomas today, my best wishes for a very successful career once you come out of the institute, and then my wish is that all of you contribute to the glory of the country India, which is in the midst of passing through a very exciting and a very challenging time to become one of the superpowers in the world. All of you have a great role to play in nation building, have a great role to play that as young India, you will be able to take India to further heights of glory. Before I conclude, I would once again like to thank the organizers for providing me this opportunity to spend this evening in the midst of this august gathering and share my thoughts with the future generation of leadership of India who are professionally mentored in the Nirma University to take the lead in taking India to greater heights of glory in the days to come. So thank you very much. All the best to all of you. God bless.